Ah, life.
Yes, we are.
Isn't life wonderful when you can laugh?
It is.
Life on a laughing life.
Hmm.
Exactly.
So much more fun and so much more light and much
Lightness.
more joyful.
Yeah,
And yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So we are here to talk about one of the areas that I am totally committed to, which is the Access X-Men um, movement, I guess you call it. And the Access X-Men movement is about people that have a different functionality, you know,
Yeah.
and I happen to be one of those. In fact, all three of us do. And it's not through definition, it's getting interested in the way this person receives information and the way their brain functions. Okay. And so for me, I don't function well at all when I'm judging myself or anyone else. And so I'm highly energetic, born without judgment, but entrained to a lot of judgment. And so the conversation we're going to have today is about when we come into the world, the roles that we've decided that we have to fulfill, what we have to heal within our family, what we have to handle, what we have to take away, and how X-Men are extremely aware of people's non-working points of views, which is insanities, really. And all three of us, I'm going to say this right out, I have absolutely mimicked and taken on insanity, so much so that I thought it was me. You know, insane points of views that do not work and do not create greater joy and happiness. And so we're having this class called Have You Decided You Have to Heal, Handle, or Take Away People's Insanities? And that's basically what we're going to have the conversation about.
Yes. And I just want to thank you for saying the X-Men movement. I really love that. It's
Hey, me too.
yeah. Because so many of us go to the wrongness of us. And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, this reality cannot receive us. And yeah, it's time we go in this movement of change for ourselves,
Yeah.
receiving ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And this part is huge. One of the things for X-Men that I've seen, and I'm one of them, is that they can go into manic depression when they go into the polarity of judgment, which is I'm wrong. And when you go to I'm wrong, how much of that is you actually mimicking a judgment, and it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for your body, it doesn't work for your life, you know? Which,
Hmm.
like, let's start there. That's the biggest insanity ever, that there is something wrong with me. Like, would you say that to a little baby when they're born? Would you say you're like, one of the things that we look at with X-Men is, would you teach a fish to climb a tree, you know? And so if I don't function in a linear way, we can talk about this. I function in a non-linear way. I don't function in everything broken down into pieces. I function from the whole and backwards, really. That's the way I learn, the reverse. And so then you make yourself wrong because you don't fit into the way things were before. But the thing about it is, there's a lot of people right now coming into our world and in our world that don't fit into the normal, average, and real category. They're different levels are spectrums of neurodiversity. Yeah.
And it seems like in somewhere along the way, like X-Men, like had the point of view, like, and personally, like I had that point of view that we're responsible for everything that's happening about us, like happening outside of us, like, and especially if something is bad. Like
Yeah.
personally, like I would, and I'm just like looking at like right now, and I'm like, wow, like it's just such an interesting point of view. Like I would actually come across in a bus or maybe in metro, like when I was going to high school, and somebody will be angry, and I'll go like, oh, like what did I did wrong, like, and like I would just like keep myself responsible instead of just going, oh, okay, like this person is angry, and actually this is nothing that I have to do about it, and like how
What?
do
I got
you
hold. Hi on. You can be aware of something and not have something to do about it.
Exactly. And like how many of you that when you be aware of something that you automatically jump into, oh, like now I have to do this, I have to handle this, I have to heal this, I have to take this away, instead of going, oh, like actually, is there anything that I can do about this right now? Instead of
So,
going into the question.
Yeah.
so you are allowing people to suffer.
Yes.
You're actually allowing everyone to be as they are.
Yeah.
And the big thing is now allowance is going to be a huge part of this Zoom class, because
Mm.
allowances, everything is just an interesting point of view. And if I'm looking, we've been told that it is your job to make people happy. Well, they don't want to be happy. It is your job to take away my pain. Whereas I don't want to let go of my pain. It is your job to change the insanity. And so these are all the roles and responsibilities we take on as us. But actually, they're all decisions, judgments, computations, and conclusions that you're going to the proper right choice so that you're not wrong. I'm right if I take away someone's pain. Why? Where does that lead? Right and wrong only leads to more judgment of you and leads you into a dark black hole. And so this call is about getting clear on what if your biggest contribution is you actually choosing to be you choosing to have you, whereas we've been we've been entrained to believe that caring is judgment. Okay, my judgment is I should take away this pain. They're all judgments, but true caring lives in the land of interesting point of view, where you're allowing everyone to have what they would like to have and do what they would like to do, and the whole universe isn't wrapped around you. Which I know really well, that you wrap around the universe and be you.
And I love like what you said regarding to like having you, and I get like that was like one of the things that was attracting me the most, like that you can actually have you, like you don't have to change anybody for have you. Like that was my point of view, like if I change this person, or if this person eventually like choose possibilities, that means like I can choose possibilities. But no, like when I was willing to choose something different, then
Mm.
that opened up a possibility for them to choose something different or choose to leave, which was totally worked for me. And and it created like something totally different. And in the areas of my life that I was like focusing on and going like, oh, like if I change this person, like now they were actually, there's a couple of examples like where the person was willing to get inspired from what I choose and go, hey, do you know what? Actually, if this person is choosing this, maybe that I don't have to hold on to this so tightly. Maybe I can choose something different. And it opened up like something totally beyond and like totally a different possibility in their worlds that was not linear. And I get like that's one of the things that we stuck ourselves. We go like, oh, like if I fix this problem, or if I handle this thing, or if I take this away, like everything will be different or everything will work. But is that actually working? Or when you are willing to be, which we'll be going into, as Rachel said, very deep in this class, like when you're willing to be the allowance of everyone with what they're choosing and allowance of you with what you like to choose, like then what is truly possible. And like for me, it's just such a beautiful space to like function in the world.
Mm. And one of the things that we talk about in access is perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving. And also, there is no receiving when you're in judgment. There's no receiving of what works. And so the other thing we'll be looking at in this class is the education of the difference for X-Men between perceiving and actually perceiving and believing. So believing is if I hand a point of view to Annette and she accepts that as true and real, whereas perceiving is I've just handed Annette a point of view, and Annette perceives whether that works for her energetically or not, if it creates more lightness. And so the difference between believing is you accept that you're obligated to accept that person's point of view, whereas perceiving is you are receiving the person's point of view and you know you can choose what is right for you. And so I'm like, I would be dead only for the X-Men tools. I'm just going to say that I would be like I'd either be manically depressed and wouldn't ever come out of my bedroom again, which occurred for me in 2008. Or I just would have, like, I'd be dead. I wouldn't be here anymore. And because I didn't have the tools, number one, I'm functionally autistic, okay, which in access, when we talk about the higher functioning autistic on the spectrum, is that I have so much perceiving of information, all the information in the universe. And I used to become really overwhelmed with other people's problems. It's my job to handle it. And then I would go like crazy, you know? And so now I recognize that I am aware of other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And I don't have to I'm still a work in progress. I don't have to do anything about it. I can just choose to be peaceful and not go into all of these insanities, reactions, need of reactive realities. And so also in the class, we will educate you guys and gift you some practices and exercises that allows you to access what is your reality and the energies of your reality.
That really is like going into what this reality calls wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And for a long time in access, we would say like destroy, like we still destroy and uncreate everything that is, you know, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, povids, creations, base and beyonds. That's the access consciousness clearing statement. You can check it out. One of the things that Annette has just addressed is the areas that we decide we are wrong. Is when I went into that wrongness, I had a massive ability for the deconstructing and the dissolving of judgment. And so this is what creates our future, is deconstructing what's not applicable for you and your functionality, dissolving that in the world. And also X-Men have a massive capacity for the creation of a greater mankind, you know? Yeah.
And like as an example, like if when people like hear that, they're like, what do you mean? Like how many of you, like when somebody says something that's so serious that you start to laugh automatically? You're like this is so hilarious. Or like when somebody's trying to like hold it all together, you're starting to laugh. And actually that is deconstructing that reality of structure that's like trying to hold on to make everything like solid, real. And then you're like, oh my god, this is like so funny. And then like that's starting to fall apart. And actually that is having your reality. And like one of the things, like I was like so different. And like for me the same, like with the tools of access consciousness, it just so much empowered me to know that I am not wrong with my functionality and I'm not right with my functionality. I am different, and that is okay. And if other people want to be structured and serious, that's okay too. And like for me, like nurturing that space is just so beautiful, because now like I'm able to walk, I'm able to in the world, like being happy and having ease. And I'm like, hey, actually like this is okay. Like I'm not wrong if somebody is choosing to not have ease in this area of their life. And that is actually this deconstructing like all the
that's the deconstruction, and that's your capacity. What Annette said, everything is strong about you, you've decided is a wrongness, but that's actually the capacity to melt what is sticking you. And one thing I know about X-Men, if they hate their life, they destroy themselves in a way that doesn't work, that doesn't create greater for their bodies they're living. When they're using their capacities in what they're capable of deconstructing and creating, it's not separate, it's simultaneous, then everything works in their lives. And a big thing for us is fun and joy. and
Mm.
play.
Yeah.
That I would say I've seen people come alive when they've started to play. Annette, we like myself and Annette have been in a lot of body classes together, and so have you, Troy, actually. And we see people when they start to play and they know living can be beautiful, their whole life changes instead of being like serious and making things significant and right. So we'd love to invite you to go beyond what you have to decide, what you have decided, a decision to handle, heal, or take away people's insanities, so that you can actually start to enjoy you again. And
Mm.
it does take a lot of practice to, not go into the familiar roles of taking things away. I'm going to say I'm a recovering trying to make people happy people pleaser. And so I have to really be aware of my automatic responders and allow myself to receive this person and what they do require and what they don't require from me and what they can receive. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's,
so, yeah.
It's
that's
a
when the magic starts.
Yes.
Mm.
It's like all magic begins when you're willing to receive you and not give you up for anyone and anything and know what works for you, So
Mm.
beautiful. And then you massively contribute to the earth, you contribute to the trees, you contribute to everything being greater, including other people, even though they may not know it in that moment. Yeah, beautiful. We invite you. Are the calls December 27th, Troy? It's
Yeah.
myself and Troy facilitating.
27 and 28. Yeah.
Thank you. And Annette will be here as well for Dutch translation, if that's something that you would like to have. And I suppose the big invitation is all of life comes to you with ease, joy, and glory. I had given up on ease. I'd become very serious.
Mm. Me too.
I don't recommend it at all, and since I've allowed myself to have ease, joy, and glory, I know now that life truly can be beautiful. Yeah,
Mm.
beautiful. Anything else, guys?
No, not for now.
Oh,
I can hear Annette's kitties. Woo! They're enjoying the energy. Yeah, yeah. The energy never lies, folks. Energy never lies, and bodies never lie. Come join us for an Access X-Men class on the 27th if it's something that is light for you and you require some further education on this information.
Mm.
Thanks so much.
thank you. Bye.
Is there a day for today? Happy Sunday 22nd. I'm not sure what the day, but it's 3 days before Christmas. Happy Sunday
Christmas,
22nd.
everybody.
And hope you're having a peaceful getting ready for Christmas. And how does it get any better than this? Mwah. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.